Just checking if the stream's cool. You know, testing, testing, one, two, three. Just checking if the stream's cool. All right, cool. All right, man. It's a lesson, man. In the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemiel Shai. Lord willing, it's going to be an edifying lesson. I want to start, as always, by giving all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Makakadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders, a great most honorable well, and shalom to the Lord's elect. Um, yeah, it's going to be a lesson. It's entitled "A Thousand Years of Hardcore Slavery for Esau and the Heathen," and that's the topic that I'm going to be going into in this lesson. And Lord willing, it's going to be an edifying one. Um, so, hey man, without further ado, I'm going to go into our first scripture, right? So this is Revelation chapter. Bear with me. I'm working on my spare phone at the moment for the scriptures, and it's a very slow phone. All right, this is Revelation chapter 20. I read it from 4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahweh Shai, and for the word of Yahweh, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And all that's talking about is pretty much the elect not worshipping this system, this power structure set up by Esau. We're currently in slavery to the Edomites, the so-called white man, which is running the world. The control of the power of the earth has been given into their hand. Okay, they're the ones that are in control. They're the ones that have the power, starting with their elite banking families. Okay, so what he's talking about here is there's going to be certain ones of the elect, okay, who are not going to bow down, and they're going to be beheaded for their keeping their faith. You know, it says, and they lived and reigned with Hamashiach 1,000 years. All right, and pretty much, the next verse it says, but the rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. And pretty much, we're not gonna the nations pretty much are gonna have to serve 1,000 years of hardcore slavery. That's their punishment. Okay. And after they've served that slavery, you know, other than Esau, the rest of the nations, the rest of the other heathen nations are gonna become tributaries. Okay. They're gonna be in their own lands and you know governed to a certain extent, but they're still going to be subject to us. Okay, they're still going to be subject to Israel. They're still going to have to, you know, pay their dues. They're going to have to still come when we've got certain, um, certain events that they need to come to us for. Okay, and pretty much, you know, after 1,000 years, Esau, he's going to be completely done away with. So what Esau has to look forward to now is 1,000 years of hardcore slavery. Okay, and he has to pay. He has to pay. The nations have to pay, and Esau's got to pay as well. The difference with Esau and the other heathen nations is that the other heathen nations are going to still be around after 1,000 years. They're just going to be tributaries, as I said. Esau's not going to be like that. We're going to do away with Esau. Okay, and I'm going to prove that to you in the scriptures. Now, first of all, let's go from there in Revelation to we're still in Revelation. Let's go to Revelation 13, verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Now, it says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. So who led us into captivity? All these different heathen nations at some point. And right now, we're actually in captivity under Esau. Okay. You know, EU and NATO, his power structure. Esau runs the world right now, and we're his captives. Okay, we're his slaves. So just as we've been made captives, that's going to turn back, and they're going to become our captives. All right, and there's many scriptures going into that. What I'm actually going to quickly do is, if you bear with me, I know it's live. I'm going to quickly just grab my garment, let my garment on. Bear with me. Yes, lucky. I forgot that I didn't have my garment on. I thought, you know, better to just have it on. Okay. So, I just read Revelation 13. Now, from there, I'm going to quickly jump to a precept in Jeremiah 30 and verse 16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, all thine adversaries. And these are all nations, okay? All these nations are our adversaries. They're in, in Psalms, the 83rd chapter, it goes into that. Okay, it goes into the enemies of the Lord, which are the enemies of Israel. Every one of them shall go into captivity. Every one. We're not going to leave anyone out. Every single heathen is going to go into captivity. The only ones that are not going to go into captivity, okay, are going to be Israelites. Because we're going to be made a nation of kings and priests. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. And Jake is preyed upon. Okay? Wherever Jake is at, they're getting preyed upon, man. Okay? In all aspects of society. Okay? Your families, your businesses, your health, your mindset, everything is on attack because these devils, these elites, they want to destroy Israel. Okay, the Edomites, Esau, they want to destroy Israel, and they ain't stopping at anything to do so. Okay, now the things that he has done to us in chattel slavery and continues to do us now in pretty much what you'd known as our bond slavery, which he ain't. He's gonna show his horns again. Okay, he's gonna have to pay for that, and these are the scriptures that prove that go into that. All right, now let's go from there to Ezekiel chapter 25, verse 12. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shai, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Power, I will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, because we're going to get spiritual power, okay? Right now, we can't take on Esau. Esau's got his military might, his tech, but the Lord is going to raise up, okay, members of the elect and give us spiritual power, okay? And eventually, we're going to get them new bodies, and it's game over, man, okay? Because Yahweh Shai is coming back to destroy Esau's kingdom and to uplift and save, okay, those of us of the household of faith, the elect, okay, the hopeful elect. The Lord's coming to deliver his elect. He says, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury. So we're going to be doing it according to the Lord's fury, and the Lord's very angry, man. The Lord is very angry. The Lord can't wait to get the green light from Yahweh to come and take this place. You know, take. That's an inside joke. And according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai. So that's what's gonna happen, man. Okay, this is concerning Edom. So Edom's got a rude awakening coming, man. Okay, these so-called white people that the scriptures say that they basically ain't got no care, man. They're not worried like other men, and you can see it. We see these Edomites. You go in their areas or whatever, you see them at the clubs, the bars, the restaurants. You driving by, you see them. They ain't got a care in the world. You have a conversation with them. They ain't worrying about the thing that Jake's worrying about. Jake is worrying about the next paycheck, where they're gonna get a meal. What's going on with the family issues. Nah, man. Esau, he just, he's worrying about where he's gonna put his next investment, where he's gonna go on holiday next. Ezekiel 35 verse 2. Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. Mount Seir represents Esau. Okay. And say unto it, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai. Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. And I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Okay. America, for example, which is a beacon of this man's society, okay, of his power structure, is going to be completely destroyed. No one's going to be dwelling there in the kingdom. Okay. Once America gets them nukes, that's it. It's over. No one's going to be dwelling there anymore. And the beautiful thing about it is that the Lord's actually going to deliver the righteousness out of there, going to deliver the elect out of there. And all that's going to be left there is just everyone that just needs to be judged. And that's a beautiful thing, man. Okay. And that's a gruesome judgment that the Lord's bringing. The Lord's bringing that fire, man, that thermonuclear fire. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. And what's Esau on? Esau's, he's not satisfied. He's got all this power, all this wealth, it's not enough. He's got a deep hatred within him where he has to murder, he has to murder us. Okay. It's been like that from the beginning, and pretty much just as Cain slew Abel, okay, just as Esau wanted to slay Jacob, okay, that's a perpetual hatred in it. Like, for example, when you read the account in when I forgot what chapter it is now, when we were coming out of Egypt, and Moses was saying, look, we'll take the king's highway, anything that we might use or whatever, we'll pay for it. What did Esau do? Esau came out to us with the sword. Okay. When these other different nations were taking us down, the Babylonians, whatever, what was Esau doing? He was all up in there, destroying temples, cutting off people that were running off. Okay. So he's always had a hand in our downfall, man. Okay. He's the enemy. He's the wicked. He's the counter, if you will, to righteousness. And that's as it is written in Job 9th chapter, the 24th verse. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Who gave the power of the Lord? Who gave the power of the earth to the wicked? The Lord did. The Lord is in control of that. Okay, and the power is going to be given onto the Israelites. Okay, Jacob. That's who's got next. That's why it says in 2 Ezra 6 and 9, Esau is the end of the world and Jacob's the beginning of it that followeth. That's that eon, that age, that time. Okay, this rulership that we're in now, we're in the last. This place ain't gonna last long. It's on its way out. Okay. So really, when we see these prophecies popping off, it's making us happy because, some certain Edomites that are in the know of things, they're starting to get worried about certain things, but they're still in their pride. They're still going about what they're doing, man. Okay. And hey, they got a rude awakening, man. Okay. because we're gonna be slapping chains on them, putting them on boats, shipping them off to that mine, to that place. Okay, and they're gonna be given the worst jobs, man. Okay, I was thinking about this the other day, and I was watching a video, and I was thinking, hey, man, we're gonna put them in the mines, but without the canary. And if if you know about that with the canary in the mines and stuff, you know, because hey, we can do what we want, man. Okay, according to righteousness, we can do what we want. Okay, other than the Sabbath, we're gonna be putting you to work. We're gonna be beating the shit out of you, putting demons on you. Scriptures say your heart shall meditate terrors for everything that you've done. Okay, feeding our babies to gators. Okay, butt breaking. Okay, breaking up families, doing all that wickedness that you were doing. Okay, like when you watch movies like Goodbye Uncle Tom, that's a good movie, but it don't even it covers certain things. But like it was when you read about some of the stuff Esau was doing, man, cannibalism and things on them boats. He's got to pay. This is the devil. He's got to pay. It says it here. He had a perpetual hatred. He says, therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh Shai, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. If thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Okay? And pretty much this destruction that the Lord's bringing is going to make a bloodbath of Esau. All right? And by the way, they're elites. That's in Revelation, the 6th chapter, and I believe Amos, the 9th chapter. The elites are going to be hiding in their mountain retreats, in the underground bunkers, trying to go up to space stations. We're going to bring them out of there, man. Okay, the angels, we're not, where they are, it's going to be known. They're going to be brought out, and you know what? We're going to slap chains on them. Let me get a precept on that. I'm going to see if there's anything else in Ezekiel 35. Get a quick precept. This is Psalms chapter 149, verse, start from 5. It says, let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds, the saints being the Israelites. Let the high praises of Yahweh be in their mouth and a two-edged sword in their hand. And literally, man, we're going to have actual swords, okay, in the kingdom. Swords are making a comeback, man, okay. It says to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people. So we have to get that vengeance, starting with our Lord, okay. He's going to get his too. Psalms, the 2nd chapter goes into that. He's going to get his slaves too. To bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. So these elite families that are currently ruling the world, okay, they're going to have to be the first crop of slaves. They're going to be the first ones going into slavery. And it's funny because the Lord's actually going to preserve them for that. They're going to be in these bunkers and stuff. We're going to be rip them out there, and we're going to put those big ancient type chains on them. And that's it, man. And it's going to be a grueling 1,000 years because, hey, the Lord sped up things right now for this place to end. But in the kingdom, everything's going to be moving slow. We're going to be really enjoying it, man. Like how you enjoying a meal, you really savor it. We're going to get to really savor it, okay? See, Esau, in his kingdom, he ain't going to be able to really enjoy things because our kingdom is going to be an everlasting kingdom. He's just here for a short time. And just as he's about to fill his belly, like it says in Job, the 20th chapter, okay, the Lord's going to swipe that off him, man. He ain't going to be able to get what he wants. He really wants what we've got. He really wants that blessing. He wants that eternity of rule through his technology. He ain't going to get that. To execute upon them the judgment written, this honor have all these saints. Praise ye Yahweh Shai. So that's the judgment that's written, right? Let me go back to Ezekiel. Now, I don't know if I covered everything I wanted to cover there. I'm just going to have a quick look through. Might jump around a little bit. Verse 7. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men, in thy hills and in thy valleys. and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. I will make thee perpetual desolations, and thy cities shall not return, and you shall know that I am the Lord. Yeah, like all these we're in London over here, New York, and this and that. All that look, man, we're gonna all this stuff. We're gonna be all these buildings and stuff, these skyscrapers. We're gonna be breaking all that down, okay, and building up on the land. Other than not on America, but everywhere else, we're gonna be building up, okay, the right way, man, in righteousness, okay. America, we ain't gonna be building that in there because America's just gonna become a wasteland. It's gonna be a desert land with desert dwelling creatures after the fire, which is gonna be gone for a long time. When that like dies down, it's just gonna be like a barren land. No one's gonna dwell there. No one's gonna do anything there. Okay, we're gonna be showing our children the kingdom. Hey man, that's Babylon. That was to be destroyed, man. That's what happens when you defy the Lord. Okay. Let's see if there's any more in this. Right, I'm gonna jump from there to Ezekiel 39 because Ezekiel 39 goes into, I mentioned that we're going to be putting these chains on these elites. One of the first jobs we're going to give them, and I mentioned the mines, but really, one of the first jobs we're going to give these slaves, okay, is in Ezekiel 39. It says, Ezekiel chapter 39. It says, and they shall sever out men of continual employment. What does that mean? What does continual employment mean? Slavery. Passing through the land to bury with the passengers those that remain upon the face of the earth, to cleanse it. After the end of 7 months shall they search. Because there's going to be so many dead bodies after World War III, okay, after the destruction, that all those dead bodies are going to have to be cleaned up and buried, man. And the passengers that pass through the land, when any seeth a man's bone, then he shall set up a sign by it till the buriers have buried it in the valley of Hammon God. Okay, so pretty much, that's one of the first jobs that Esau's going to get in the kingdom, and he's been doing that while we're being a shit out of him. He's all bruised, all black and blue, bleeding. And, hey, they're just going to have to deal with it, man. And there's no escape. Okay, if they die, we can put that spirit back in them, in that body. There's no escape, man. They're not going to be able to escape the torture and the torment that's coming to them. Okay, that's what's coming, right? And he's the pomp that he's got now. That's going to be beat the hell out of him, man. We're going to expose him for who he is. He's going to be exposed, man. We're exposing him right now through this word, and everyone's going to see it in the kingdom. Or even other heathen are going to see it. Okay, I'm going to get that now. This is Isaiah chapter 14, verse 11. It says, "Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee." Going into, the failing infrastructure of America, okay, in this man's system. It says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?" And Lucifer just means light bearer, okay, which is talking about the elites. They call themselves the Illuminati or whatever, or they call it the Illuminati, which means what? Illuminated ones, because they've got the light, which really we've got the true light because they really be watching the prophets. We got the true light because the true light is just the understanding this word. It's Yahweh Shai. He's the light. Okay, that's why it says in Matthew's, if you have a candle that's lit, don't put it under a bushel. It's got to light the whole house. So if you got this word, you got this understanding to put it out there. Now Esau has certain things that he knows. Scripture says wiser than Daniel, but he's a gatekeeper. He keeps that information. Our information is out there on the internet. Okay, we're breaking down these prophecies. We're warning the people. We're telling you what's going to happen. We're telling Esau what's going to happen to him, which I'm doing right now through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai. What's going to happen to our people, who their power is, how to attain salvation, you know, our history, prophecies, the future, everything. So this ain't talking about there's some battle between God and the devil and all that bullshit. No. Which Satan, by the way, the spiritual demon Satan on the left hand side, if you read Job, you understand that he works for the Lord. Okay. He does the Lord's bidding, Yahweh's bidding on the left hand side. The Lord controls the left and the right. He controls the demons and the angels, man. They're having councils up in heaven. Okay. So Lucifer is gonna fall, meaning what? These elites, okay, they're gonna fall, and with them the whole people. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. And that's what this man has done. Okay, you got the tribes over there in America. This man is done nothing but oppress us. Okay, we're in slavery and all manner of wickedness against us, man. Okay, right? And if you look at his mentality, I will ascend into heaven. It's like he's gonna go and say in the next verse. I might as well read it. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. He's got a God complex, okay, and that's why in where is that now? If you will you say to the hand of him that slayeth thee? Let me see if I type in slayeth thee. See if that comes up, man. Okay. Oh yeah, Ezekiel 28 and verse 9. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am God? But thou shalt be a man and no God in the hand of him that slayeth thee, because Yahweh Shai is going to show you, he's coming as a God, he's coming as a power. He's going to show you what true power is, man. Okay? And you're going to have to deal with it. Okay? There's no escape. Because Esau loves to hide and escape. No, there's no escape. There's no escape. Okay? You're going to have to deal with that judgment. He says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble and did shake kingdoms? Because, Esau, he's dropping bombs, he's nuclear bombs. He's thinking, oh my God. That's what he's thinking. Okay. So they're going to look at him like, really? This is the guy? This is the guy that had the Manhattan Project and he was dropping bombs in Nagasaki and this and that. World War III, all that pomp, the white man, all of that. Him? Because the way that they're going to be looking in the kingdom, I told you, the whole body is just going to be full of bruises, bleeding, rags. Now they say rags to riches, but they're going to go from riches to rags. Okay. And they're just the devil, man. Elder Omar, he always says, you can put a rat in a suit. Still a rat. It says that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners. Let's see if I keep reading this. It says, all the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, every one in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, that go down to the stones of the pit as a carcass trodden under feet. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Okay, you know Esau, he ain't gonna be no. There's not gonna be no renown. Okay, no one's gonna be thinking of Esau. Oh, Esau, everyone's gonna be looking at that's wow, man. The Lord, hey, that was a dark time. Okay, because in the kingdom, man, everything's gonna be shining and glistening and you know true. You call this technology. This is nothing, man. This is just the Lord's just giving this to him to destroy himself, to fulfill prophecy. Shit gonna be like Asgard. It's gonna be golden. It's gonna be brilliant, man. You know, and I'm not saying Asgard and these flat earthers, man, with their crazy maps. I'm talking about like you know, the Marvel Thor and Odin, the rainbows with the gardens and the gold. Okay, which the scriptures go into the golden you know, cities, man. Okay, the floors paved with gold, the gemstones. It's gonna be beautiful. A quick precept: Psalms 37, verse 1. Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity. So we don't envy Esau, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herb. Okay, that's what's coming to Esau. He's going to be cut down. He's going to be, he's going to be brought back to his rightful place as being the base man on the earth, which he still is that, but you wouldn't know it because the way that people worship this man, okay, with all the power that he's been given, but that power is going to be taken away. The same one that gave them the power, Yahweh Shai, okay, that blessing, is the same one that's going to take that power away. Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. Okay, so you're not gonna be able to escape your judgment. Okay, you got Edomites to come up and say, "Well, I wasn't there." No, you was there. You were the same devils standing in them pictures, smiling while you got Jake hung on the tree. There's such a thing as reincarnation, man. And if you had the chance, and you see that many, there's all the kinds of articles coming out when the devil can be let loose to be the devil. All kind of vile shit, man. You notice whenever they show these end time movies, when they always show these cannibals and these bugged out people hung up in meat carcasses in their basement, it's never Jake. Somehow they just never Jake. It's always Edomites. Okay. All right, let's go from there to Obadiah, the first chapter. Right, I'm gonna start from the top. This is Obadiah 1 and 1. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Bashmiel Shai, concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. Hey, Esau's greatly despised on the earth, man. Okay. The pride of thine heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Like I mentioned, the skyscrapers that we're going to be bringing down, they always got these higher places, the penthouse and this and that. They feel right at home there, man. It's their pride. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. And that you had that with the Apollo missions. They went up into space. They never went to the moon. Okay, but they went up into space, and you know, they got weapons programs, and weapons up there, and they got you know down here they got Golden Dome and this, and they've got all these things that they've lasers, all these things that they're preparing for the return of the Lord, because they know that the Lord's coming. They know the angels are coming. They can see the chariots. That's out in the news. The so-called UFOs, the UAPs. That's which ain't nothing but the chariots of the Lord. The angels are in them, the vehicles of the Lord. Okay. So this man's been going down. Okay, pretty much around about the same time he was doing that, in the late 60s, early 70s, this truth started to flourish. High Priest Elder Albert Bivens. Verse 5. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the gate grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? And Esau is insatiable. Scripture in Habakkuk, the second chapter, it says that he's as death. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? And we're bringing out all of that through the spirit and power of the Lord. We're exposing this devil. The man of sin is being revealed pursuant to 2 Thessalonians, the second chapter. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under him. There is none understanding in him. Okay. And pretty much you had all these different heathen that would go to Esau's prestigious, education establishments and learn of his ways, and then go take that back and put that to use. These same different nations are going to come against Esau too. Okay. Now they use it against him. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom and understanding out of the mount of Esau? Which is interesting because ultimately the Edomites are going to be completely destroyed. But hey, their wise men are going to be useless when America's getting destroyed. When them nukes are flying towards America, that's in Isaiah 47. Let your monthly prognosticators and this and that, can they stop the flame? Can they stop it? No. They can't turn back that judgment. And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mountain of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, we've been reading it. Shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Ultimately, that's what's coming. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them, because they joined in with them. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother, in the day that he became a stranger. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamities. He's going to have to pay for all that. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. We read that in Revelation 13. Their reward, what they're going to get for their misdoings, is slavery and death and torture. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. That's talking about slavery. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down. Oh, and it's going to be bitter. And they shall be as though they had not been. But upon Mount Zion, which is Israel, shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. Yeah, we're going to take all that shit. Okay, which really is, earth was made for our sakes, really our shit. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it. And that's the future prophecy. We're going to round them up and we're going to get rid of them. We're going to burn them up, man. And they of the south shall possess the mountain of Esau, and they of the plain of the Philistines, and they shall possess the fields of Ephraim, and the fields of Samaria, and Benjamin shall possess Gilead. And they of the south is talking about Judah. Judah is going to possess that land that was Esau's, because we're going to get rid of him. It ain't going to be his land, it's going to be our land. Okay? And the captivity of this host of the children of Israel shall possess that of the Canaanites, even unto Zarephath. And the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in Sepharad, shall possess the cities of the south. And Savior shall come upon Mount Zion to judge the mountain of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's. All right? So that's what we have to look forward to, and that's what Esau has in his future. Okay, now we're telling you and we're showing you that's the future judgment of Israel, of Esau, man. Okay? And those of our people that side with him, they're gonna have to die on this side. Okay, for siding with the devil. Ultimately, in the kingdom, our people are gonna be good. They're gonna be kings and priests. They're gonna be living good. Okay, and even other heathen nations, after they serve that same slavery, that punishment, which we're gonna have them, Esau gonna be out doing the worst jobs, man. You know, these heathen, you know, you might have like an exceptional heathen, and it might have them in your palace, you know, doing certain things for you or whatever. But Esau gonna get the worst, man. And pretty much after 1,000 years, you know, we're gonna do away with Esau. The other heathen nations, like I mentioned earlier, they're just gonna be tributaries in their lands, and they're gonna be paying tribute, and they're gonna be under our rule. Isaiah the second chapter goes into that. So anyway, man, hope I covered everything, and you know, Lord, and this was an edifying lesson in the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai. Until next time, and I'm gonna say shalom.